Welcome to Recollection Mall. If you were a mall rat like me, or spent your formative years hanging out or being dragged to the mall by your parents or your parental units, then you've come to the right place. Have you ever gone into your childhood, teenage, or current mall and wondered, wasn't there a store or restaurant there? So let's take a trip down memory lane and take a look at that mall's history of yesteryear. Be sure you stick around to the end of this video and see if you can take my mall survey. So leave a comment or a memory of this mall below, and don't forget to subscribe to my channel. Thanks. The area known as Bloomingdale has roots that go back as far as the 1840s. The early settlers were German farmers, and the church services were held in German in the village as late as the 1960s. In 1950, when developers were occupied elsewhere, only 339 people lived in Bloomingdale. By 1965, the population had jumped to 2,020 people, and by 1970 to 2,974. Then the real housing rush was on. The 1980 census tallied 12,600 people in town. In 1978, Springbrook, the first big shopping center, came to Bloomingdale. Ground was broken for Stratford Square the next year. The 1.3 million square foot, two-level indoor Stratford Square Mall opened on March 9, 1981 in Bloomingdale, Illinois, a northwestern suburb of Chicago. The closest major routes to Stratford Square was the US 20, a slow surface road with many lights, located a couple miles away, and the I-355, a major north-south thoroughfare through Chicago's western suburbs, located about 4 miles to the east. The mall was the end result of a planning strategy from one of suburban Chicago's oldest settlements. The Stratford Square Mall was a product of the 1980s mall building craze, and it would compete with Woodfield Mall that was located nearby. The mall opened with 4 anchor stores: Weebolt's, Montgomery Ward, Marshall Fields, and Carson's. The Chicago Tribune stated that the Stratford Square Shopping Center, vendor of garments, not manufacturer, had dominated the village books and its character as it dominates its western horizon. Sales tax alone from the mall accounted for roughly 1/3 of Bloomingdale's 1988 tax revenue. In 1987, Weebolt's closed after the company went bankrupt. J.C. Penney would take over the vacant building in 1988. Also that same year, Kohl's would open a store. In June of 1990, 15 employees from Marshall Fields were treated at the hospital after a truck accidentally spilled toxic chemicals near the building. In 1991, Sears would open in the mall. The mall would reach its peak in the 1990s, and then the decline began. In 1996, its main competitor, Woodfield Mall, would renovate and remodel its mall, and due to its centralized location in Chicago's northwest suburbs, located near the intersection of Interstates 90 and 290, the mall dominated the local shopping area. On November 15, 1999, Stratford Square would respond to its competition by completing a major renovation. The mall remained open, and customers were able to continue shopping throughout the renovation. Major improvements and renovations included new flooring throughout the center, a new elevator, additional escalators, enlarged restrooms including 2 family rooms, comfortable seating areas, and an expanded retail area on the lower level. Other new aesthetics, such as a new water display in the floor, was a major focal point of center court. The water displays next to the food court ran from the second floor to a mezzanine and then down to the first floor. Other features were removed. During the seemingly unending growth during the same period, too, many new strip malls and lifestyle centers were constructed in the region, causing an overbuilding of convenience and leaving many of the older centers in and around the Stratford area to develop vacancies. In 2001, Montgomery Ward closed due to their bankruptcy. In 2002, Burlington Coat Factory would open in the old Ward's building. In early 2005, the mall was acquired by the Feldman Mall Properties for $93 million. The mall had a 90% occupancy rate and was anchored by Kohl's, Sears, Carson's, Marshall Field's, JCPenney, and Burlington Coat Factory. In 2006, Marshall Field's closed. It would reopen as Macy's. Other stores you may have remembered at the time was Steve & Barry's, a Red Robin, and FYE, who had replaced Record Town, Spencer's, the arcade, Hot Topic, Zoomies, Gloria Jean's Coffee, Anna's Kitchen, Dollar Extreme, and even an Abercrombie & Fitch. In October of 2011, the water features in the central square were replaced with a carousel, which would later be moved and then removed from the mall in 2018 or maybe 2019. The Stratford Square Mall was an engine in the community, but beginning in 2012, the number of vacancies in the mall continued to climb and the property had deteriorated. The problem was the location of the mall is not located near an interstate highway or even an expressway. In 2013, Stratford Square was acquired by Street Mac LLC for $42.3 million, who then proceeded to spend $30 million to renovate the mall in 3 phases. On May 3, 2014, JCPenney closed. In 2015, Round 1, an entertainment center that included bowling, karaoke, arcade games, billiards, darts, and ping pong, opened on the lower level of the Carson's wing. On March 26, 2017, Macy's closed. On August 29, 2018, Carson's closed. On June 12, 2018, a shooting occurred when 2 people were shot by a 23-year-old suspect. The former Marshall Field's Macy's space was demolished in 2019 to make way for a new Woodman's Food Market grocery store building. On November 10, 2019, Sears closed, leaving only 2 anchors left at the dying mall. The mall was bought by Namdar Realty Group in 2019. The COVID-19 pandemic would cause more tenants to vacate the mall. In 2020, Victoria's Secret, the 25 West Brewery, Oriental Gifts, Express, Scooby's Hot Dogs, and Round 1 Arcade would close. On February 24, 2023, Burlington closed their store after relocating from the mall into the former Kmart across the street on Gary Avenue. On April 22, 2023, 2 suspects robbed the jewelry store with a gun and a hammer in hands. On January 22, 2024, the village of Bloomingdale, Illinois, purchased the mall for $8 million and gave all of the remaining tenants in the mall a 90-day notice. Stores that closed in 2024 included Lids, FYE, Kidstown 2, and Challenge Accepted. Among the stores that will leave when the mall closes include Bull and Bear Axe Throwing, Challenger Accepted Escape Rooms, Quality Jewelry Design and Repair, Fix for Less, and Alterations USA. The Stratford Square Mall officially closed on April 21st, 2024. The redevelopment plans include revitalizing the area with a blend of restaurants, entertainment venues, retail spaces, housing options, and public open spaces. Congratulations!
Still here? It's over. Whoa. When I find you...
Pop quiz, hotshot.
This is only a test.
So if you've gotten this far into the video, thanks. So how many anchor stores closed or changed names at this mall? So if your answer was 8, give yourself a hand. You were paying attention. Thank you for watching. So what are some of your memories of this mall? Leave a comment below, and don't forget to subscribe to Recollection Mall. Add your name to the mall directory. Thanks.